to try to address that.
So if I may ask you to expand a little bit, you have some provocative things to say about brain drain and the informal economy and the political expediency of both. So can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I raised that as an analytic dilemma in my work, and I think in the work of others. And it's something that may be somewhat peculiar to the Arab world or to other autocratic systems. We on the outside, looking at what is going on, try to explain cause and effect. So I see very high rates of brain drain and out-migration of educated youth in the Arab world, or educated people in general. And I say, who benefits? You know, who benefits from that? And I make a logical deduction, which has, I'm afraid, no real empirical basis in fact. The logical deduction is that leadership in these countries is obviously aware of this massive brain drain. I do have evidence in Lebanon, but I'll leave that aside because Lebanon's a little quirky. But leadership is very much aware of the brain drain and the out-migration, very much aware that they've invested in, through their systems of education, in these kids who they then export. And I come to the conclusion that this is deliberate, that they want it this way, that they regard a lot of these educated youth as problems. And that message came home strong in 2011 and recently in Algeria, Sudan, and Iraq in the last year and a half before the pandemic really hit. So it's not a comfortable analysis because I don't have empirical evidence that anybody is thinking in those terms, except I did hear it more than once in Lebanon. And I was lamenting that AUB graduates routinely leave the country and go someplace else. And the person I was talking to said, yeah, that's the way we meant it to be. So, but that's just one anecdotal piece to support that analysis. Informal sector. The informal sector, who knows? Because it's informal, we can't measure its weight in the economy with much precision, but it's often 40% probably of GDP in many Arab countries. It's been there forever. It's a great source of employment for university graduates and others. Why is it tolerated? I think for that very reason, because when the public sector can no longer absorb university graduates, you always have that great sponge, the informal sector, which can take the university graduates and put them to some kind of work and keep them busy. So you tolerate the informal sector, even though if you could incorporate it into the formal sector, you would increase your tax revenues and strengthen public finances. So again, do I have empirical evidence? No, it's a surmise. I look at the result and work my way back to cause. It's a very dangerous démarche, but it's what outsiders are left to do when you don't have insights into the black box that's policymaking in the Arab world.